Most people think water is simple. Hydrogen, oxygen, end of story. But that's not how the bottled water industry sees it. Some water spends thousands of years underground before reaching the surface. Some flows through ancient volcanic rock. One brand was exposed by a television documentary as possibly being treated municipal water, yet still sells for luxury prices. And one contains so many natural minerals that it has 166 times more dissolved solids than one of the world's most famous premium brands. Today we're exploring 7 levels of water, not ranked by price, not ranked by popularity, but by what makes each source uniquely remarkable. And it starts with one of the most recognizable bottles on Earth. Voss is artesian water from southern Norway. If you've ever walked through an upscale hotel or airport, you've probably seen the iconic cylindrical bottle. Designed by Neil Kraft, the former creative director of Calvin Klein, it became a symbol of luxury before most people knew anything about the water inside. The water itself is known for extremely low mineral content. Total dissolved solids, approximately 45 milligrams per liter, almost nothing. The result is a crisp, neutral taste with very little mineral character. Some people love that purity. Others find it almost too subtle. But here's the thing most people don't know. In 2010, Norwegian broadcaster TV2 aired a documentary called A Drop of Luxury. The investigation claimed that Voss shares its source with the local municipal water supply in Iceland, and that despite the marketing language, the extraction method may not qualify as truly artesian in the traditional sense. Voss disputed the findings. The Norwegian television station stood by its reporting. The debate was never fully resolved, which means the world's most recognizable premium water bottle might contain water that began its journey in a very ordinary place. But if Voss is about minimalism, the next water is about time itself. Ora comes from deep underground aquifers in Romania. Its story begins long before modern cities, factories, or most forms of industrial pollution existed. The water is naturally protected beneath multiple geological layers, isolated from modern environmental influences. The taste is noticeably different from Voss, still smooth, still clean, but carrying a stronger mineral presence, more character, more depth. What most people don't realize is that groundwater can spend years, decades, or even longer, moving through underground formations before reaching the surface. Every layer it passes through changes the final composition. Ora isn't marketed as trendy, it's marketed as ancient. And that shift in perspective makes the drinking experience feel completely different. But now we're leaving Europe for a water source surrounded by volcanic landscapes. Fiji water comes from the Yakara Valley on Viti Levu, one of the most remote locations of any major bottled water brand. The journey begins as tropical rainfall. That rain slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock before collecting in a protected underground aquifer. The volcanic geology gives Fiji water something immediately noticeable. Silica. Fiji water contains approximately 93 milligrams per liter of silica, among the highest concentration of any bottled water on the market. That silica is the reason for the famously smooth, almost velvety mouthfeel. It's soft, round, noticeably different from most conventional waters. Professional water sommeliers, yes, they exist, often describe Fiji as approachable, with a balanced mineral profile that feels gentle rather than aggressive. The square bottle became iconic, but the volcanic source remains the star. But while Fiji became famous through isolation, the next water became famous through gastronomy. Acqua Panna originates in Tuscany, Italy. an area more commonly associated with vineyards than water. For centuries, the source has been protected within the Tuscan hills. Its mineral profile is gentle, yet present. The texture is smooth. The finish is clean. This is why acqua panna became a standard in fine dining. Many restaurants serve specific waters alongside specific meals. Because mineral composition can subtly influence how food tastes. A heavily mineralized water might overwhelm delicate dishes. A softer water can complement them. Some restaurants maintain water menus the same way they maintain wine lists, and acqua panna is almost always on them. But if Tuscany gave us elegance, Finland gives us something older. Velamo comes from Finland. The source lies within ancient geological formations shaped during the Ice Age. The water spends years moving through layers of granite before emerging. Granite acts as a natural filtration system while contributing unique mineral characteristics. The result is exceptionally pure water with a crisp, almost sharp profile. Some of the geological structures influencing Velamo's water were formed thousands of years before recorded history. Most bottled waters tell a story measured in years. Velamo tells one measured in millennia. And yet even that isn't enough to reach the next level, because now mineral content becomes the main event. ROI comes from Rogaška Slatina in Slovenia. And unlike the previous waters, this one isn't famous for purity. It's famous for minerals, specifically magnesium. A lot of magnesium. ROI contains approximately 1,300 milligrams of magnesium per liter, making it the most magnesium-rich bottled water on Earth. Its total dissolved solids measure 7,481 milligrams per liter. Compare that to Voss at 45 milligrams per liter. ROI contains 166 times more dissolved minerals than Voss. That number is not a misprint. The flavor is stronger, bolder, more complex. This isn't a water that disappears in the background. It announces itself. The spring itself is over 8,000 years old and comes with a legend to match. According to mythology, the winged horse Pegasus was instructed by Apollo to strike his hoof into the earth at Rogaška. From that spot, a spring burst forth. Apollo declared, "Here springs the source of health and the true power of the gods." Whether you believe the legend or not, the geology is real. The spring sits at the intersection of three major tectonic structures: the Alps, the Dinaric Alps, and the Pannonian Basin. The oldest rock layer is approximately 285 million years old, and the water rises to the surface naturally, driven by its own carbonation, without any pumping. Despite all of that, one final water remains. Not because it contains more minerals, quite the opposite, because it comes from one of the most remote environments on Earth. Far north of mainland Europe lies the Svalbard archipelago, a landscape of glaciers, ice, and Arctic wilderness. This is where Svalbardi begins. Unlike traditional spring water, Svalbardi is produced from harvested glacial ice. That ice originated as snowfall, snow that accumulated year after year, compressed over centuries, eventually becoming glacier ice. When the ice is collected and melted, it creates water with extraordinarily low levels of dissolved solids. Extraordinarily pure, extraordinarily rare. And unlike almost every other water on this list, its story starts frozen. The snow that formed some of these glaciers may have fallen long before modern industrialization transformed the atmosphere. In a sense, the water represents a snapshot of a different era. The logistics are equally extraordinary. Collecting Arctic glacial ice is not a routine bottling operation. Weather conditions, sea conditions, accessibility, everything matters. Every harvest is limited, Every batch is finite. Most premium waters are defined by the ground they travel through. Svalbardi is defined by the ice it comes from, and before it became water, it spent centuries as Arctic snow drifting silently across the top of the world.